Welcome to the Two Dudes Movie Podcast as we discuss the grand finale of Wandavision. The question on everyone's lips, did it live up to the hype? Let's discuss. I think, and this is where I want to start my point, the very fact there is a question of whether it lived up to the hype explains my feelings towards this episode and as a whole this series and on a wider world. My sheer uncomprehension, I cannot comprehend why the most successful franchise of all time, the most successful movie studio possibly ever, Marvel Studios, feels the need to create falsehoods, if you will, misrepresent their own show to get people to watch it when we'd all be watching it anyway.
Okay, so this is where I want to... My main thoughts on this and my first sort of approach to this is outside of all that, if you were to just take the series as a whole and you were to separate everything that was said around it and as if you were to watch it all in a whole, the series, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really, really good series of character exploration and stuff like that. Obviously, there's some nitpicks that I would get onto just inside of the series. So the issue being is that misrepresentation, as you said. It was the way that they decided to try and project falsehoods in the marketing of it, and I kind of compare it in my head to a movie studio creating a trailer which presents a movie as being a certain genre or a certain plot, and then when you actually go and sit in the movie, it's completely different. It's a completely different sort of thing, and so you're sat there, no matter how good that movie is, you're disappointed because you go in thinking a certain thing because of the way they've made you think.
For your analogy, I'll tell you what that movie is. It's called Suicide Squad.
Yeah, exactly.
The initial trailers for Suicide Squad were completely misrepresentative of the movie that ended up being made. For whatever reason, I'm not really interested. But it wasn't representative. And either that is director lost control of a movie or whatever happened down the line, or basically the people editing the trailer had better vision for the movie than the people making the movie.
Now, that didn't happen here. But
no.
It's the same feeling. And yes, much as Suicide Squad ended up being disappointing anyway, and this hasn't, I think it leaves that sour taste in your mouth, which I think we'd both agree and say we were looking forward in many ways to going and watching this whole thing back, having the mystery, unraveled in our head, knowing what was going to happen, and seeing if we can spot things that are coming up and stuff. I now, and I don't know if you feel the same, don't quite feel like rewatching this series because of the sour taste that's left in your mouth of the things that they almost promised after the thing was made. It's one thing promising things when it's still being made, but when you know exactly what the final product's going to happen, and you go, oh, look at this, and oh, look out for this, and then they don't come to fruition, you're like, well, why have you done that to us? Why have you directed us in that way? And then knowing you're going to disappoint us.
Yes. So my frustration, and that is the only word I think I can use to describe it, is just an immense frustration with this show, because what has been presented is a beautiful study of grief and loss and hope and love put through the lens of a superhero movie, and it harkens back to the days of Winter Soldier, where the Marvel formula, and Guardians of the Galaxy for that matter, where the Marvel formula was put through a blender, stripped of everything that made it standard, and they reformed movies to fit new genres. You had a political thriller, you had this sci-fi comedy of Guardians, and they didn't feel like any other movie that came before. And WandaVision is that in TV. It feels like nothing we have seen in the MCU before, and something I don't think we're necessarily going to see again.
And that's what makes it great.
It's entirely unique, it's entirely beautiful. So many moments are just some of the most incredible writing I've ever seen. And yet, they screwed it all up because they wanted people to watch a show that should have just lived on its merits rather than the merits of what it could promise.
Yeah.
So before we get into the review, one of the biggest things I've seen in response to this is saying, well, all the fans went and theorized and then got butthurt when nothing happened.
That's not what I'm butthurt about.
I am not butthurt that my fan theories didn't pay off.
No.
AIM wasn't in it. I don't care. Is okay. That was a leap of faith.
No, don't care.
I don't care about most of the things. I can't even think of all the other things we predicted or hypothesized. I care, and I'm gonna lift some evidence off for you. And I'll go. I referenced in a previous episode to Noya Paris saying I can't wait for audiences to see who the aerospace engineer is. Turns out it was no one. Mm-hmm. We had Paul Bettany saying, I can't wait I've wanted to work for this actor all my life. It's incredible. It's just an incredible opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Turns out it was just himself.
Now, that's funny out of context, but at the same time, when you're expecting something, it's misleading. Yes.
There's several instances over the past couple of years of this show of characters and actors within this show saying, I can't wait for audience to see there's this huge thing, and there was not a huge moment. The actress who played, what's her name? The woman who's really important in episode 2 and then doesn't appear again.
Oh,
really. Dottie. The actress who plays Dottie came out and said, I've got this really big moment coming up. Guys, it's really important. You have Kevin Feige, and this is the big one. Kevin Feige saying this is the start of a multiverse trilogy, including Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I don't think you can call this part of the multiverse trilogy if there is no multiverse in it. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't lead to the multiverse, but we don't call you wouldn't call the Star Wars prequels. Well, they're part of the Luke Skywalker story because they tell you how he got there. You'd say they're prequels. You'd say they're part of the Skywalker saga. Yeah. They're part of the MCU.
That's a very good
analogy. They are not part of that trilogy. They're not relevant. You can watch them.
Yeah,
and
it's like saying that Endgame is part of the multiverse because everything in the past 20 movies has been leading up to the creation of Wanda, the creation of Harry. Now, I agree that there's this. I think there's a conflict of interest. I think there's the creatives, and this includes the people who have also been on the other side of this. There's the creatives who just went, this is my vision for the show. This is what I want to happen. You know, they went, Agatha's going to be the bad guy, and probably Mephisto didn't even come into their mind. Obviously, they had the Darkhold there and stuff like that. Yeah. But they were going, this is what we're going to go and do. And then they did it. And then you had almost the post team, which went, right, we've got to drum up some hype for this. Now, with the likes of Endgame, they didn't advertise it at all, but there was people who went into it with theories of ideas of what might happen and stuff like that. And I don't think any of us who had those ideas, us included, were disappointed when they didn't come true because none of those were promised by the people marketing the movie. I never thought Mephisto was good. I think, and you can quote me if I'm wrong. You can quote my actual words if I'm wrong. You said it. I've just been pretty unconvinced that Mephisto was going to appear, not in relation to Wanda or the twins, but just here. Especially when we had Agatha reveal herself with 2 episodes to go, it was just like, well when are we going to get Mephisto? Unless it was the very post-credit scene sort of reveal, he was never going to appear. And I was never convinced by the Quicksilver was Mephisto thing. And there's lots of evidence cited for those things about the references to hell and the devil and all this stuff. But again, that wasn't a theory that ever had me gripped. And I think that's the difference where you have fan theories, AIM, Mephisto, Nightmare, whatever you will, these ideas of what could happen. And then you have the promises that were made, which were, these aren't things fans theorized that it's part of the multiverse. The multiverse is going to open up. We were told that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I think X-Men, another fan theory, this is how the X-Men are going to come. You said yourself about the hex may turn people into mutants. I think a great fan theory. Am I disappointed the X-Men, the mutants weren't brought into the universe from a show? No, not really. No. I'm disappointed nothing really changed. And this is what I think it boils down to for me is. And there is a quote from Kevin Feige from a recent interview he did which said,
are people going to have to watch Disney Plus shows to keep up with the movies? And his answer was no. And that tells you everything I think you need to know about these Disney Plus shows. And my problem with these Disney Plus shows is that nothing important in the universe will change. No major things will happen that have a significant effect that you wouldn't want to happen on a movie screen. And this is where I think the shows are going to fall down.
Yeah, I get that.
Because they keep promising that they will be.
Yeah,
if you just tell me they're not important. Tell me their side stories. Issue, because
for me, I don't think that's necessarily going to I don't think that these shows not having universe-changing events is what is a bad thing with them.
No.
Because I still think, especially this series as a whole, it's worth investing in, because just like you do in a movie, if you just had the movie following the plot and not the story, then you would have all the big world-changing plot-changing events happen, but you wouldn't have any character development, or you wouldn't have any in-depth analysis or psychoanalysis of the people who are in there, and it would make every plot less interesting. That's why the story's there. This, for me, is very much story rather than plot. But if you were to present it as plot, I hate to say, it's filmmaking 101. You don't present something to a audience as being really important only for it to not be. And I'm not talking about subverting expectations, and I'm not talking about
don't get me started.
Red herrings or anything like that, because of course they are important. But for an entire series to be presented, or for things to be coming up as a way, you don't use a red herring to get people to watch a movie. You use it to mislead people inside of a segment. You don't use, if they were to turn around and in Star Wars, I think this is probably a good analogy, and they were to go raise parentage, people went absolutely haywire at them for her being no one in The Last Jedi, because they went, but you've presented her parentage as being this huge thing, only to disappoint us now and say it's nothing. Why have one of the reasons why we were invested in this is because of that. Now, yes, they ended up rectified it again and didn't make sense, and it made things worse. But what I'm saying is, the marketing tools, the way you market a series, a film, or anything, should be using not truth, but things that are actually going to happen, especially when it's post-production. Like, there's some TV series, and I think this is honestly my biggest annoyance, is some TV series are made week by week and released 2 or 3 weeks down the line. And so you have marketing that goes on in between, you have interviews that go on in between, where they say things that might not necessarily come true because they haven't been filmed yet.
Yeah.
This was filmed a while ago. Paul Bettany knew it was himself he was talking about, and misled people.
To say another thing, the Luke Skywalker level cameo.
Yeah.
Is this a hilarious in-joke amongst them? Fine, great, but you can make that joke after.
Yeah.
You can say, where was your Luke Skywalker level cameo? Oh, didn't you see Paul Bettany walked in? Yeah, we can have that joke, but you're making the joke at the audience expense. You're telling them we're going to give you something, you don't give them to it, and then I'm frustrated at the portion of the internet who goes, well, why did you expect this? I'm like, only because it was told to us. If you hadn't have done interviews where you said there was a Luke Skywalker level cameo, I wouldn't have expected there to be one, or I wouldn't have been disappointed if there wasn't. I would have been like, yeah, I got overhyped, I can blame myself.
Yeah.
To jump on a different analogy, I want to take you back to the first show to ever spin out of the MCU, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
Now, I remember watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Channel 4, because that's where was it Channel 5?
Yeah, no,
Channel 4 or 5, back when it first came out in the UK, and I remember watching it and being like, oh, this is a good show. This is a fine show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, it ties in with the MCU.
Yeah.
And it never tied back.
Yeah.
But there were ties, there were links. You could see events happening in the MCU that were happening in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
That show, to many, and again, that's another significant factor, is we are plugged in to the pop culture sphere. We're hearing these interviews. We're looking at this news day on day. Yeah? Very different than the casual viewer who hasn't seen a Kevin Feige interview, who hasn't seen what Paul Bettany said. So we're speaking from that perspective, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was promised to be an MCU TV show. This is the movies on TV. This is a really important part. And it wasn't. And there has been a change in attitude towards Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as it has gone on, with people saying it's got much better. Now, my hot take, if you will, is that I don't think the show ever got any better. I don't think the show was particularly bad to start with.
Yeah.
I think it was a fine, good show.
Yeah.
I think what changed was you added characters like the Inhumans. You added Ghost Rider. I can't think of more. I haven't seen most of the show. You added Mockingbird.
Well, Daisy got her powers, and and I think this is the thing. I completely agree with you because I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for most of the series, and it was only in the past couple, just because of life, that I just stopped watching it. Now, the important thing was, first 3-4 seasons, they were... I think the only way I can describe it is shackled. They were following the events of...
the MCU, trying to keep in line.
And then, of course, Winter Soldier happened.
What happened in season 1?
We can't... No, that wasn't the end of season 1.
That was season 1.
Oh yeah, it was because Grant. Anyway, they sort of went. Thor: Dark World happened and anything like that, and then they were sort of like, we can't keep following the MCU. And the Marvel obviously decided that they weren't going to bring it back in. There was obviously a little nod in Age of Ultron where the helicarrier, which we'd seen in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Thing. He was like, oh yeah, I just dust off some mothballs, which is exactly what happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But as soon as they started going, this is not MCU anymore, they were able to do the things they wanted to and bring in characters that they were able to bring in. And I think it's interesting because this idea of WandaVision, bringing it back to this, of being the start of this multiverse thing, I don't think it's... They could do it, but they could very much risk alienating a lot of moviegoers by introducing such a big thing like the multiverse into a TV show.
100%.
Yeah, and they'll go, but this is going to impact it, and so you need to watch WandaVision. Great, okay, that's fine for a lot of people. That's fine because they're going to have watched it. But there's going to be a large portion of people, and let's face it, guys, as much as the Marvel fan base is huge, they have to still cater to both audiences.
Well, I think this is actually the best example, and this is the breaking, not the breaking point of the MCU, but the turning point. The MCU has a enormous hardcore fan base, probably the biggest hardcore fan base of any pop culture franchise we have at the moment. But what it has is more important, is it has casual viewers hooked. Everyone knows if I go and watch a Marvel movie, I will have a good time and it will be a fun ride and I'll enjoy it. There are an enormous amount of people who don't care about your characters or that Iron Man's dead or that this happened or that happened. They're just watching the movie and they'll go home and they won't think about it till the next one. They don't care. And that is the majority of people who pay to see this movie in cinemas. And I think that there is a tendency to forget that is where Marvel will follow the money, Disney will follow the money, and that's where the money is. It's to casual audiences who don't want to have to read a book to understand a movie. Yeah. I think where Feige fell down, if you will, I feel one of his few faux pas has been his handling of this series as if hardcore fans weren't just going to watch it anyway. Yeah. To get to cater to the audience, you don't have to tell them, the majority of people, you don't have to tell them there's a Luke Skywalker cameo because they're probably not going to understand what you're talking about. You don't have to say the aerospace engineer is exciting. You have to just say this is a Marvel show. You have to make a good show that gets all the hardcore fans going, oh my god, you have to watch this. Just like The Mandalorian Season 1. Exactly. Now here's the thing. This show, as we've said at the start, is an amazing, honest to God, separate everything else. This is an amazing charactering and exploration of grief, and just it's brilliant in its subtlety. Okay, so in the way that it
explores the psychology of Wanda, the way it develops in that case, and we see her grow, and we see everything they're going through. That is brilliant. Market it as that. If you're going to put it on Disney Plus anyway, you're going to have people to pay for it. Yes, of course, you're going to want to bring people in, but the name Marvel will do that for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. The hardcore fans, at the end of the day, I want to see... okay, slightly taking it off, but remember when Age of Ultron came out, and we saw that scene of all of them trying to lift Thor's hammer? And it was funny, and it was light-hearted, and it was just seeing them in their own, not natural habitat, but as themselves rather than having to be all superhero-y. A lot of people commended them for doing that because they went, yeah, this is what we want to see. We want to see this. We want to see them just being themselves. Wandavision is that.
Yeah.
They, if they were to look at Age of Ultron, which I know a lot of people don't think it's one of the best Marvel movies, but if you were to look at that, you'd go, okay, well, there's our pitch for WandaVision. The people liked seeing this framing device of just them having to deal with life and just being able to just, be themselves. We're going to do that for each character. We're going to have a Loki version of it. We're going to have a Falcon and Winter Soldier version of it. We're going to have... And it's small scale. It's not big superheroes, not lasers. That's what it is. And that's what this show is, and that's why it's so good.
I don't understand why people don't understand, but I will pay and I will watch Wanda and Vision sit and live their life. They're perfectly
Give me a full-time sitcom. Give me it.
I'll just watch that. I'll sit and I'll watch it. If you tell me that it's a sitcom and that's what it is, I'll be happy. I'll happily watch that and I'll happily enjoy it. If I take this show as what was presented to me, phenomenal.
Yeah,
I would say this is one of the best properties that Marvel has ever produced. I think it's one of the best television shows I've seen from the start to finish without needing to see a single other Marvel property. Mm-hmm. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to my problem, and the bitter taste it's left in my mouth.
They didn't leave it alone.
Is that they didn't just give me that and say, this is what we're doing, this is it. Guys, we wanted to make a smaller project. We wanted to make something small. Something that was designed for television. Because
that's what they started to do. That's what they did at the start.
Yes.
At the start, they went, this is what it is. And then you watched it and you went, oh, God, yeah, no, that is just what it is. We don't get any superhero stuff. And then it's as if... I don't know whether it is. Obviously, I'm not inside Marvel's head or anyone who was there, but it's as if they were trying to combat against spoilers by almost leaking fake spoilers.
Yes.
And that's just not... It's just not a good idea.
Yeah.
Just don't give us spoilers. Just shut up.
I don't care if the entire show is... So here's another thing, and this is the thing that I think really... that I actually find lazy... I find it pretty lazy, to be frank.
Yeah.
And I think this will haunt this show. I think this will be...
Yeah.
This will be the point that is constantly brought up as why this show was a letdown.
And I think I know what you're mentioning here.
If you decide to reintroduce a character from a different universe in a multiverse storyline, your self-proclaimed multiverse storyline, your subtitles saying from the X-Men universe, and make it some random guy who's got a boner joke as a name, Ralph Boner, then you deserve all the upset you cause because people are frustrated that you told them this was going to be a thing through all the evidence you yourself presented, not in the show, not we got clues and figured out it was going to be an X-Man. You told us basically multiverse, Evan Peters, he's also playing Quicksilver.
Yeah. And
then you just do a complete 180 and don't make it something else interesting.
Yeah.
Where people go, I'll take that instead. You literally make it a throwaway line that is probably one of the most forgettable parts of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
But was used to market and hype up that show. It makes me question the creative decision behind it. Why did we cast Evan Peters?
That was very much... Do you know what that felt like? It was very much a middle finger to an audience that was with you all along. Like... That's the kind of thing that Rian Johnson did to an audience that was getting on him for or getting on Star Wars or hating Star Wars for being different. So he went, all right, you're gonna be dicks about this. You're gonna really hate Force Awakens. How about this for size? I get that. I get what he did with Luke there. This was everyone's on side. I'm gonna just flip him off anyway. But
shall I tell you what's different?
You abandoning us.
Rian Johnson hadn't said you're going to see the most amazing Luke Skywalker fight scene in the world.
Exactly.
If in the trailers we'd seen like 3 flashes of Luke in an awesome fight scene, and it turned out those 3 flashes were it, and it was like some sort of flashback, people would have been upset.
Yeah.
More so than I think they were.
Yeah.
I think people expected a Luke Skywalker fight scene, which is why they disappointed.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson didn't say you're going to see Luke be the most badass he's ever been in his life.
But what I'm saying is, it's the same motion. It's the same reasoning creatively behind it. Obviously, audience reaction is different, but it's the same creative reasoning behind it. It's you're all going to expect this, but I'm going to do this anyway just to spite you. But why, when an audience is with you this entire time?
And but again, what I say is different. Is it wasn't a you're going to expect this. It's a we know you're going to. We're going to not that you're going to expect a Luke Skywalker fight scene. It's that we're going to tell you, well, obviously Luke's going to need to have a fight scene. Obviously, look, we're going to put all these pieces in place and then go, well, why would we have a Luke Skywalker fight scene? He's useless. He's terrible. Like, it would be like making Luke Skywalker have a fight scene and he's rubbish. He's the worst Jedi ever. It's knowing that people are going to theorize and hype up your show, expecting an X-Men appearance, expecting literally anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared if it had been a throwaway line of, I don't know how I got here.
Yeah.
And it turns out he somehow fell through the multiverse or something.
Yeah. And we don't see that till Doctor Strange. Fine.
I don't care if we never saw it and that was it.
Yeah.
They've closed the door on the Quicksilver book, but who I genuinely feel more sorry for, is in the biggest franchise in the world that every actor, or most actors would probably trade their left leg to be a part of. You've cast Evan Peters in a role, meaning he can now never return to this franchise. I can't ever see Evan Peters playing a role in the MCU again now. They've killed that.
But yeah, I think the issue is not just with Evan Peters. I think that closes the door to all of the X-Men side of things. Now, that may not necessarily be the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, I think it's a bit unfair to have him be able to come back as Quicksilver and then just say, oh no, you're right. Because like, imagine if the X-Men universe appeared in Spider-Man Far From Home now, No Way Home now. Like, how are you explaining that?
I think the bigger problem is here. It's not that Evan Peters can never come back as Quicksilver. It's that Evan Peters, the actor, can never be in the MCU. You can recast anyone else from the X-Men movies and put them in as a different character. But Evan Peters' character in the MCU has just been burned. I don't think he's a small enough actor in a small enough part to get away with returning. Yeah. In the same way I feel... So Gemma Chan, we know, has been recast and is going to take on a different role. I think while she is a wonderful actress, she's not a big enough name and she wasn't a big enough character to be noticed as being recast. Whereas Evan Peters has been the single most talked about aspect of WandaVision and is now just burned. I just feel quite bad for him as a person. All the Evan Peters stands, wouldn't you have wanted him to have a better role? Wouldn't you have wanted him to play someone, I don't know, important or relevant to the plot?
Yeah, I think it's a shame, and I do think it was... that was the one thing, as you say, I think that was the one thing that, outside of everything that was said outside of it, in terms of just the plot and the way that the narrative went, that was the one thing that I just went, well, why did you do that? Why was that decision made? Recast anyone else? Like, honestly, that was so much of a throwaway. They could have just recast him as someone else. They could have just had a different person playing Quicksilver. And
that's what I think they should have
that's
done.
really weird. Is this a multiverse? The same theory might have still happened. Is this a multiverse version of Quicksilver? Yeah. And when it turned out to not be, none of us would be hurt by it.
Don't write in your... in your subtitle... No, it was audio description. That's where it was. Don't write in your audio description that it's X-Men Quicksilver, because that's also just a bigger FU to people that can't even see the episode. Just like, yeah, it's X-Men. It's X-Men Quicksilver. Except it's not.
Yeah.
So to move on, we want to talk about a couple more things this episode. So the first thing I want to touch on is the negative I found in this episode, and then I want to get to the positives because there was lots of really nice stuff.
Oh, 100%.
So the biggest negative I found was Hayward was just a waste of everyone's life.
Yeah.
Why did he even exist? Like, I'm pretty sure the show could have mostly happened the same way. Like, he didn't need to be the head of S.W.O.R.D. really.
Yeah, I expected a massive face-off against S.W.O.R.D. at the end, and it just sort of ended up being a case of
6 men.
Yeah, like,
/
okay,
women.
that was a cool moment, but just more could have been done with it. I know it was used mainly as a reveal of Monica Rambeau's powers, and obviously the kids were there. That was quite cool. And I do feel like he was very much played as an antagonist, a person for them to fight against, a person for Kat Dennings to drive into. Like, it didn't need to be.
Could we not
a
have
specific
made this
big person?
Couldn't we have made this? But to make the same point, if it was just going to be that, if he wasn't going to do anything exciting, like this isn't like he was revealed to be the head of AIM or revealed to be someone like he just didn't even do anything. He makes White Vision. We don't even see him send. White Vision just flies in. Apparently, White Vision has the power to go through the hex. That was not even mentioned. He's not like taken over S.W.O.R.D. and made it nefarious. He's just been arrested. He was stopped by Darcy riding a car. Darcy's only appearance in the episode.
Yeah, that was a waste as well.
Like, to
especially
compare
with White Vision, he was just a vessel for White Vision to happen, obviously. Like that,
but
the whole build-up of that was to White Vision, and like he wasn't then important after that. But
to put a different spin, make him Justin Hammer, bring back Justin Hammer and put him in the same role. He doesn't have to do anything else, but it would feel like it had more value. We just have this guy who's never appeared before take over this thing. S.W.O.R.D. again has never appeared before.
Yeah.
And then just it sort of fades away to nothingness. I think it was the science side of this. Yeah, the magic, the science, the mechanical, the robot, the sword, all of that stuff, I think just it went out on the like a really long, really quiet whine.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bang.
I think if the one thing I'd have done to fix this, and honestly, this one little change, I reckon would have made S.W.O.R.D. feel a bit more dangerous in that final bit, and Hayward especially feel a bit more of a bad guy and worth something, is have him be the puppet master for Vision. Vision was saying how he was bred to be a better manipulated weapon, but like have him almost be a voice behind like ordering Vision to do stuff, and it then be a physical and mental fight inside of that White Vision character, because then you have that he's now turned on him, and you can have the same thing happen afterwards, and then he goes, oh well, I've got to do this myself, almost Thanos style, and then that payoff at the end becomes more of he was a bad guy, he got what was coming to him. At the moment it just felt like
why does Hayward open fire on 2 children he doesn't know have powers? Because at the point where the feed cuts, I don't believe they've got powers yet.
No.
If I remember correctly. In which case, why is he just shooting children? What on earth? Like we didn't see if you want to just make a bad guy who's just bad for badness' sake, because like at the point you start murdering children, you cross from being a bad guy who's in it for the money to just a lunatic. Why aren't we seeing more of his backstory? Where did he come from? How was he? He was number 2. He was number 2 to Maria Rambeau this whole time. Yeah. According to Monica, it made perfect sense for him to take over. Yeah. Why are you letting this man near children?
Well, I was saying this morning to my girlfriend is the fact that I very much felt like his motivations seemed clear up until this episode. So his motivations was obviously to try and reactivate White Vision. Why is it that he didn't just then, as soon as he reactivated White Vision, why did he feel the need to go and kill both that Vision and Wanda? And I know, but then why then did he want to kill the kids as well? Like, why couldn't he have just gone, right, I've got my weapon, now bye? I needed an explanation.
The reason he had to kill Wanda, there is a tiny explanation, is the reason he has to kill Wanda is because they have to believe, he's told everyone that Wanda stole the body, so they have to believe that but he's retrieved this from the Hex as
Right,
opposed to him making it himself while she also has Vision. We've seen all this footage of Vision in the Hex. We have to be convinced of its fame, so he has to kill Wanda to make that happen. The bigger thing that I don't understand is this entire time he's tracking the vibranium signal in the Hex.
Yeah.
Why? Because he actually says he only wanted the magic from Wanda to be able to reactivate this Vision. It would have made so much more sense to me.
Wherever Vision is, Wanda is.
But it would have made sense to me that if he tracks the vibranium signature, she's created vibranium. I'll have that too. And he's trying to take both Visions. But he's just like, just kill the other Vision. I'm like, why?
Yeah, so as soon as he went, kill Vision, I was like, but why? If you can do this once, surely you can do it again. Like that, it was that. But again, that was minor. I think as soon as Agnes came into play and Sword very much was dismantling from the inside anyway, I liked his interactions with Jim Woo, but I just sort of went, yeah, all right, bye.
But it does frustrate me because I think just don't have it. Don't have. I think it comes back to that thing of you're just trying to make something out of nothing. You want Monica to be there, so you've got to make it Sword, okay?
Yeah.
But why don't we just not see Sword? Why do we need White Vision? Why do we need any of that? Because nothing happened with it. It didn't go anywhere.
Well,
Sword
White
didn't
Vision
do
is
anything.
obviously. I have a feeling that's going to appear in later movies, and I think.
I believe it is.
But the thing is,
get
I think
out of my
this is
movie.
where.
Get out of my show. If I was the runner of that, I'd be like,
then I think
sorry, I'm not just doing your
if you
setup.
to have White Vision, I think as much as, I kind of agree, you could just have a scene in the movie which briefly goes over it, and a lot of people would go, all right, that's fine. But I think in a story which is centered around Wanda and Vision, if you're then going to have Vision turn up later, it needs to happen in this.
Okay, so why did Wanda never meet Vision? White Vision. She never had a moment of like, oh my god, you're the body. Like a moment of horror where they've sort of
there was that moment of just like him attacking. Well, yeah. Okay, so there's two things on that. Is that there's a moment obviously where he tries to crush her skull, which was brutal. But there was I was surprised there wasn't a wait. How are you? Like she was very confused. Like Vision, hang on, how is that you? Is it the real you? And because obviously I have a feeling she could feel him inside of there. But what I don't get is her Vision knows that Vision has now unlocked his own memories. Why doesn't he tell Wanda?
Yeah, why didn't Wanda go looking for that Vision?
Like, why isn't that last scene, which again is beautiful, and I don't think it needs to be changed too much, but why isn't in that last scene he goes, oh, you're not really losing me, you'll say hi to me again, because there's another Vision out there who's actually got his memories back now. Like, why isn't that a conversation that's had?
It's just it's just that thing of it just feels like it's just there because they've got a plan for it at some point, so we had to fit it in. We had to show all of. Why did we see any of Sword? We just needed Monica. We needed Monica and then forces to get him away. It could have just been the FBI getting him away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just some random FBI agents go, Monica, go away.
I don't hate it being Sword, but I do get what you mean.
I'm happy Sword's there. I'm happy they've introduced it to the universe, but like, why have we got all these characters as a part of Sword? We've got Hayward. We've got Hayward's right-hand person. But, like, they didn't do it. They literally... She didn't even appear in the last episode. They literally just didn't do anything with these characters. I would have loved to see... In fact, if you're going to make this show about Wanda and Vision, you have to make it about both. This show is about Wanda. Excellent. I love that. Okay, make it about Wanda. Stop with all this other stuff. Having said that, I think the scene about the boat with Vision was beautiful. Yeah. I think again that is one of the just the way Vision has been written as a character is impeccable. I think he has a clear voice, and I think watching him get to talk to himself was fantastic. Eloquent. I think the logic was a bit flawed.
No, I completely agree with the logic.
Well, why didn't Vision explode as soon as he realised he was Vision?
Because he realised that his programming was wrong.
No, but he's...
No, because his
before
programming wasn't just kill Vision, and Vision is just this entity as programming. It would be, this target is Vision.
Yeah, but he's now...
And then he goes, but no, that's not Vision. And he goes, oh, okay, well, I can't then kill this target for being Vision, because it's not Vision. It wasn't kill whoever is Vision. Because then, yes, he should have exploded. I did kind of think that might have happened, but...
This is the thing, though, but it doesn't make sense, because you're having this philosophical debate of who's Vision, are they both Vision or neither of them Vision, but you don't... So we know that Vision in the Hex is not real Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah? But if he accepts the memories, he is accepting, I am in fact Vision, therefore making him a true Vision. His instructions, as we hear it in the episode, was kill Vision, not kill that man over there.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, okay? So the philosophical debate was that neither of them, at that point, without memories, and one having all the memories but not having the body, and one having not the body not having the memories but having the body, is that neither of them were the real Vision, just like neither ship was Thebes' ship. As soon as Hex Vision, restored the memories of White Vision's programming that Hayward had installed was wiped. That's why he didn't explode.
But he accepted the memories.
But yeah,
which means he accepted he was in fact someone else. That's my point. If he accepts the memories and doesn't... but I know what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. This is a pretty nitpicky thing.
No, because I think he didn't accept the memories, because it's not like he knew the memories were there. What Hex Vision was saying to him is that your memories are there, but you can't see them. So he couldn't accept that he was the real Vision, even with accepting that he was going to see those memories, because he didn't know those memories were actually there. He was just going, okay, I will humour you. I will make sure that I'll see what you can do. And then actually, when he humoured him, he realised, okay, no, I am the real Vision, but my programming's now gone. And
I'd like to agree with you, but he's a robot who can't humour. He can't humour someone. He can't. It has to be a true or a false.
He's a complete sentient artificial intelligence.
You're correct, but the White Vision wasn't. He's just the robot. He doesn't have the sentience.
He just had shackles. He was still sentient.
No, he wasn't. That's the point.
Jarvis could think.
Yes, no, Jarvis can't think in the way that you're suggesting he could think. I'm saying he did. It's stupid and it's driving me mad. But the fact that he accepted the memories, he accepted to have the shackles taken off, accepts that there were shackles there, therefore accepting he was Vision, therefore meaning he should have just blown up. This is not this important. It doesn't really matter. I just find you're going to go into this deep philosophical debate, and then you're just going to have him yeet with no explanation.
The yeeting was annoying. I'll agree with you.
You could have fixed it with a scene where he's like, okay, but now I know who I am. Oh, I love Wanda. Why is he yeeting if he loves Wanda now?
And I expected the end credits when we were going through the mountains and it was nice and serene. I immediately went, we're going to see Vision. Because I just expected that we'd see more. And I think that's what my only nitpick about the ending is that we just went, is that all we're going to get? Like, you've left so many open doors here, and I really worry they're not going to be answered. And is that all we're getting?
Catherine Hahn was a fabulous Agnes who I just don't really know what her plan was.
She just wanted power.
I'm going to steal all your magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the same reason why she did it to her parents when she was in Salem. Is she just wanted.
But what's her goal?
To become the most powerful sorceress.
But she's not the most powerful sorceress. We know the Sorcerer Supreme exists. Why don't she go steal his magic?
No, yeah, but she's not more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
She's not more powerful than the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but as she says to Wanda, it's not her power that's the issue. She just doesn't have the knowledge. So she believes, because she's got delusions of grandeur, she believes she can overpower Wanda because Wanda doesn't know how to use her magic. She may have more power raw, but she doesn't have the knowledge to use it.
She straight up says, you're more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that she's got the knowledge to use that power.
But that's a moot point.
Go
and get. There are so many sorcerers. Maybe go and up your power a bit more. before you do this?
But the thing
how
is,
have we also got Mordo
now
in the universe
that's
stealing magic,
question.
and then Agatha's entire plot is exactly the same?
Now, but the thing is, I don't think she... Like, we've seen, she didn't know that Wanda was the Scarlet Witch. At that point when she was there, she was like, I'm now in this position. Like, the reason why she threatened the kids is because she was like, I now need something over her. Because I'm now in this position where I'm facing off against a being that I was trying to steal the magic from, and I've pissed off that I didn't know was this powerful.
Okay. I'll put you a different scenario in your head, yeah? Wanda is, according to Agnes, no real threat. She's going to take the magic. It's going to be fine, yeah?
Yep.
Why not just say, okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to give your magic, your children might disappear, but I'll just remake them for you because, again, you have the power to create, so I will get that power. Because there's absolutely no reason I wouldn't do that, because you will be no threat to me without the magic. So I'm
what
just
she
do that.
said.
No, but why didn't she do it? She says, I can't do that, and then Wanda's like, oh, the hexes
Because
were
she's
there.
a bitch.
But I'm just saying, it's so illogical.
No, but the thing is... Okay, right.
All she wants, if this is my problem with the motivation, is if all she wants is power, okay, take the power and then shut Wanda up in a little corner of the world because it means nothing. But she said, nah, I'm not going to do that because I got all your power now. Ooh, yeah. But what does it matter if you've got her power?
She was going to, but the thing is, she didn't get the chance. That moment where she goes, oh, the thing is, though, I can't actually change anything. She goes to attack her. She literally goes to kill her.
Exactly.
She goes, I've got your power now, I'm now going to kill you.
Why?
Because she's evil. James, some people are just bad.
But I don't. This is the problem with Hayward as well. I don't like the fact that their plot they get all this way. They've both gone to so much effort. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm just gonna murder a child on the side, just for fun. Like, why not just? But the only person who is a threat to you, who knows of your existence and your power currently, is Wanda. Wanda's the only one who even knows what the Scarlet Witch is in this world. Or it likely knows. Okay, so why not just keep her sweet? Because if you make her...
At the same time, why not kill her?
But, okay, if you kill her...
You've literally just explained her motivation.
Avengers,
You've literally just explained why she wants to kill her.
But the Avengers and Vision, remember...
But Vision's not real.
Agatha doesn't know that.
No, I think she does. Because no, she does. Because it actually, in that moment where she starts opening up all the hex...
they because she figures it out.
You can't... Yeah,
that's
exactly. So
at
that moment where she then goes, all right, I'm going to kill you, she knows that it...
Her plan was stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's just stupid.
You're just saying that because I'm right now.
Okay. Why didn't she take her powers from her in the basement? Why didn't she just go, I'll let you go and live in the hex while you're tied up in this basement? Why do we go... Like, we went down memory lane, we saw all these things.
Yeah, that I can't explain.
See, it's just... It's just like plot for plot's sake. It's like, and she gets away, and then she's got the kids hostage because she needs the kids. Like, okay, the kids, she took the kids into the basement or something. Or she put the kids... Where were the kids in the meantime? Where were they?
Magic.
I know it doesn't matter, but just like... I just feel like it all ended in a big CGI battle.
I get it.
I'm not being pedantic because I feel that everything that happened was so good. I just feel the underlying stuff, the metaphors of grief and loss and stuff, that was top tier, incredible stuff. But if you want to have Vision argue with himself about who's the real Vision, okay. But then if your payoff is the fact that literally there is no payoff in that scene, one Vision just yeets off to the other side of the world, and the other one's like, oh, fair enough, I'll just carry on being Vision. Not like has an existential crisis about the fact he's not real Vision. He just doesn't care anymore.
He's just also a hyper-intelligent being that probably doesn't succumb to that sort of thing.
Okay, arguably fine. But show me something. Because I felt so... Again, I just think so much of it was good. There's just so many little things that I'm just like, as soon as you start to think about it, you go, wait a minute. What?
I get that, right.
To that point, Agatha, her whole plan of messing things up, like we know how she controls Herb to cut through the wall, and she's like messing things up at the magic show.
Yeah.
Why?
To try and get Wanda to reveal her powers. That's what she says in that episode. She said, "I've been trying so hard to get you to reveal yourself to me."
How does making Herb cut through a wall only seen by Vision make her
because
reveal
Vision
herself.
then, because knock-on effect is dominoes. Vision then believes that something's wrong, will go to Wanda. Wanda will have to do something else.
But why not just show Wanda something that's wrong? Why not show both
Because
of
Wanda
them?
wasn't there.
Why not go to... They're in the house. She spends half her time in the house. She literally has an entire scene in the house in that episode.
If she... I have a feeling that's because the logic is... Now, we're discussing things that are outside of script that probably even the script writers may not have even thought of here. So, bear with us. But I have a feeling that's probably because of the fact that the motivation of the character in that instance was... If I do something obvious now that shows me I'm a witch, and I don't know enough about this person, I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat her.
Okay. So let's just skip to what happens at the end, or the reveal. So she goes, "Oh, hi, sweetie, I'm Agatha Harkness."
Yeah.
And then the next thing is they go on a trip down memory lane because she has no idea who she is. Yep. So
or how she did it is actually
changed between episode 1. What changed for Agnes? What did she learn to then reveal herself? What was the inciting incident?
Okay.
Remember when she thought she was after the kids and then she got the kids and that was the reveal? But she didn't want the kids. The kids, in fact, were irrelevant to her plan.
I think it was most probably Wanda expanding.
But she expanded a whole episode before.
No, actually, no. It's what she said. It's the fact that she went to the edge of where the hex was and people were still there. Like, it was that moment of, oh god, that's even more powerful than I thought she was. And then that's when she came back, because that's why she was there.
Do that at the start. She could have done that episode 1.
I don't know, but that's the reason why she did it then, and that's the reason why it then happened after that. I don't know why it happened in between those bits, but I know why it happened then in particular.
These aren't questions that particularly matter the answer of. It just this is the thing about rewatching it, is I look at it and I go, but if you rewatch it, I don't think any of the clues were there to tell you that Agatha was magical and evil and controlling. And I don't even think the logic is there for her to be doing that. If you take the instance, like Quicksilver, her controlling Quicksilver, perfect sense. It was to manipulate Wanda, make her emotional. But the other things she do don't have that effect. In fact, if you want to know where the magic show went wrong, it was because someone gave Vision gum. Yeah. That's what made it stressful. You could forget if he just had been fine.
Yeah.
Like, the gum was more effective than anything Agatha did. Like the wall incident was not as effective as the bit where Wanda tries to end the episode when he tries to talk about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's what made him upset. But
would he have investigated and spoken about that if he hadn't seen what he did with Herb and her?
Yeah, because he didn't know that Herb. He knew there was something wrong with Herb, but that wasn't. There was things that happened after that made him more suspicious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All I'm saying is, like, it wasn't what Agatha made him realise. It was like Agatha, and also a long list of other things. Which I just want to just to make the point.
Yeah.
This show was really excellent. I really do think it was.
I was gonna say.
I just want to make the point of the stuff where I feel like they have, and I said this episodes ago. I said a great mystery is where you can figure it out from the start.
Yeah.
I don't think the writers knew when they wrote episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously you don't necessarily write things fully fleshed out in order and change nothing, but I don't think when they wrote episode 2, Agatha was going to mess up anything at the magic show. I think that was just something because they needed something else for her to have done other than Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Couldn't we have just had her controlling Quicksilver? Couldn't that have been the thing she did? And another thing that it did was everyone thought she created the hex because it said Agatha all along. But it wasn't Agatha all along. It was Agatha
messing around
about 3 times.
Yeah. But I think it's important to have these criticisms. I think it's important to be able to say these criticisms. And I disagree with anyone who says that we shouldn't be saying this because of the fact that it's our own hype or anything like that, because that's not what it is. The thing is about writing and about making films or TV shows is you're not going to please everyone. You're going to do your best, and I have to say, on a whole, they did incredibly. Like, the series as a whole is brilliant. There's just little bits that, you know, if they had all the money in the world and they spent an extra couple of years genuinely going through this with a fine-tooth comb with 60 other people, they'd have gotten to him. Of course they would have, but that's not how TV is made.
No, I disagree with you. I think we would have
You're never going to find...
We would have found more red herrings if we'd have done that.
Exactly. You're never going to find any TV show or film that is perfect. It's just not going to be the case. Otherwise, why are any of us doing this? If the perfect film's already been made, I'm obviously not including something that might be coming up in the Muppets thing with you. If the perfect movie's already been made, why the hell are any of us carrying on?
So I would disagree on that there isn't a perfect show. I think there are lots of perfect shows, just like I think this is a perfect show, through a lens.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it in the right way, which is the way I wish they'd have just kept advertising it, this is a perfect show. I think this hits every note in every way possible. I think it has the emotion, the action, the drama, the mystery that really invests every week. I've had a blast for the past 9 weeks sitting and talking to you for an hour on a Friday night, getting home from work, getting ready to watch this episode. It became a movie night every single week. And I think Marvel has done themselves proud. They have done Disney Plus proud on taking what The Mandalorian offered as an incredible show and upping it to a whole new height of theories and discussion and debate and excitement and a genuine joy for what is a fandom show. This is a fandom-driven show for people who I know don't care. Yeah. For one of them, who don't care about the Marvel universe and the Marvel franchise. I've seen and spoken to people who've said, you know, that show looks pretty good. I might watch that show, and I'm like, yes, you should, because it's great.
Yeah.
And I am so pleased and excited that this show specifically, the one that references sitcoms from every era, the one that deals with grief and loss and love, is the one that got to open the floodgates.
Yeah.
This isn't just going to play second fiddle to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not going to be compared to that for action, because that's clearly more action driven. This is a show that does something different. This is a show that I personally connect with in the issues and topics it deals with. And the only place I think it falls down is when it tries to appeal to hardcore fans. Make me a beautiful for She-Hulk. Make me a beautiful courtroom drama. Don't put Daredevil in it for 30 seconds. Just if it's going to make the rest of the writing rubbish. Yeah. Make me see a beautiful courtroom drama, just like the Daredevil show was. There was so much courtroom drama that I felt. Give me that. And
with Moon Knight, do an amazing exploration of mental illness. Talk to me. Show me schizophrenia. Show me everything this person goes through. All these different personalities. Show me everything that brings in terms of struggles. Do that. Don't worry about anything else. That will all come naturally in terms of the lore. Focus on the story, the translation of what that person is struggling through. Because that is
for Hawkeye.
What is interesting about it.
Yes, exactly. For Hawkeye, give me this great father-daughter relationship that is definitely going to develop between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. Whether it's father-daughter or some sort of master and apprentice story, give me that. Don't get bogged down with, this week we've got an appearance from Black Widow. Yeah. I don't need any of that. Yeah. I don't want any of that. What I want is a story crafted for the television screen that does something. I don't want every Marvel Disney Plus show to be my favourite. No. I want to find ones that are different. In the same way, movies and other TV shows are different. I want to be able to have a TV channel that's 5 Marvel shows in a row and they all do something different. Some of them are comedies, some of them are action, some of them are horror.
Yeah, give me a Loki that deals with the trauma of his past and has to finally face up to it, and that's the reason why he comes. Give me the same arc that we got in the 3 Thor movies. Give me the personal character growth. That's what makes us invest to it. Marvel, you're never going to be listening to this, but please, if you're able to read people's minds at this point, through any microchips you might have implanted into us, I don't know. Let people play. Give the Marvel fandom, the same way as Star Wars used to, give the Marvel universe, have it as this sandbox for people to come in and go, right, I want to tell this story that doesn't have to be a comic story, it doesn't have to be that. Give me this personal story. I want to tell a story on grief. I want to tell a story on trauma. Or I want to tell a story on mental illness. And then just go, okay, you can do that. Here's a character to play with. Go.
Give me
Don't
a Jimmy
make it
Woo,
everything else.
Now You See Me style heist movie.
Hell yeah. With Mark Ruffalo.
I don't need superheroes and villains left and right if you don't tell me I should be looking for them.
Yeah.
If you just present me something and just say this is all it is. This is a study of Wanda and her grief. Don't expect anything. Don't keep telling me to expect something every week, and I won't. I will take each episode at face value, and I won't be sat at the end of it going, that it? That the reveal? I think that one of the most criticised parts of this was the please stand by at the end, where everyone was so angry and frustrated because they wanted more. Because you told us there was more to see. There wasn't. I didn't need it. You told me to expect it, and I expected it. I said weeks ago that I think the reason this has to be a TV show, the reason it has to be a 20-minute TV show, is that sitcom format.
Yeah.
Stick with it. Go with it. Run it right till the end of the line. Run each episode like a sitcom. Even if it's going to be the end of Agnes, make it like an action sitcom that we've seen. Yeah. Not sitcom, but the action comedies that we've sort of seen. Yeah. Give me any of these shows. Don't be scared to plow into your vision because you're worried that people won't get the MCU they expect. If I wanted the MCU I'd expect, I can go and watch Iron Man. I can go and watch Captain America. They still exist. If this is a failed experiment, fine. It's on Disney Plus, and most people aren't going to see it.
Yeah, I don't
attempt things. I think this was excellent.
But honestly, yeah, I know we've complained a lot and we've brought up criticism a lot today. But
had to get it off my chest, you know.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to say this, but on a whole, in a general last note, this show was amazing. As a writer, as a viewer, as a fan of Marvel, as a fan of these characters, it was just beautiful, heart-wrenching, hilarious, everything. Just
yes,
yeah. And I'm not gonna end it on a negative. It was great.
I want to bring it to the last line. One of the favourite things, one of a genuine quote that may exist already in the world, and please tell me if it does. But something that I genuinely think would actually go down as a sort of classic quote of the modern era, which is, "A grief is proof that love perseveres," or whatever that quote is that I keep misquoting.
Yeah.
But the idea that grief is love persevering.
What is grief if not love persevering?
Yes, that. And
yeah,
my love persevered through this show, man. And it still does. And even though I will sit and I'll rant and I'll point out the fact that it doesn't make sense that Vision didn't explode, I'm so glad I was here for every minute. And we will be here for every minute of every Disney Plus show until we get tired and bored of having to do this every week. So suck it up, because we're in this for the long haul. You have to listen to it, not us. Subscribe, like, leave a comment. Tell me if you think Vision should have exploded. If you're saying Vision shouldn't have exploded, be prepared for an angry YouTube rant comment.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll try and defend you.
No, you won't. They're wrong. Vision should have exploded, and that's it. And I won't hear no more about it. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. And we will see you next time on the Two Dudes Movie Podcast.
See you soon.